Hello everyone, this is Dale C. Washington of Greater Works, Prophetic Ministry, and RAW. RAW stands for Remnant Anointed Warriors. It is Tuesday, March 31st of 2020. I hope everyone is well on tonight. I hope that all of you are taking shelter under the shadow of the wing of the Almighty God. Yahweh is His name. I want to share a brief prophetic warning with you guys that the Lord gave me to release back in 2017. As you can see, the picture says State of Emergency. Now, the exact title of that warning at the time was Emergency 911. This is not the same prophetic emergency message that I have uploaded to my YouTube channel. That one was called Emergency 911 Exposures and Explosions. So with that one that's already uploaded on my YouTube page, that one was about warnings about disasters. That was things that I was warning about that was going to come upon the church as well. So that one is a little bit separate from this one. This message here that I'm getting ready to pull up from my Twitter page, this one is not has not been uploaded or shared on YouTube. It is only on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, so I'm going to open that up. Again, this is my Twitter page, WordGirl at 8_Sharice, and I'm just going to scroll down. So on the way to that, I want to show you guys that I'm going to come back and do a separate video. This is a warning also from 2017 from the Lord. It's called 911 is not a date. That is a very urgent warning. I'm going and it's what we are in the middle of right now. We have entered into, well, we had already entered into the season of 911 in 2017, but we're right in the middle of it right now. So I'm going to come back and share that with you guys at a later time. Also, let's see. Talk is cheap. That was also a warning the Lord gave me to release back in 2017. That I was telling the people about some things the Lord revealed to me from the enemy, that they were ready to go ahead with their plans to attack America. So I will come back and share Talk is cheap. Okay, state of emergency. Alright, so this was actually a part 1 and a part 2. And I opened up part 2 because it's a little bit longer. So I'm just going to show you the very first thing that I released in part 1 of Emergency 911, which is extremely brief. So this was my actual post, State of Emergency. This was how it looked. This was released Monday, August 7th of 2017. I have 882 reads. It only says prophetic alert warning. This is the word of Yahweh on this day of August 7th, 2017. We are in a state of emergency, high alert, watch and pray. So I told you guys I want to tell you some things about this high alert. I told you that on a previous video. I would come back and talk about that. So let's go back to, that is all of part 1. At a later date, the Lord had me to release part 2. This was released Sunday, August 27th of 2017. I actually have about 1,439 reads. It says prophetic alert warning. So I repeated what I said in part 1. Repeat, from August 7th, we are in a state of emergency, high alert, watch and pray. Today is August 27th of 2017. This is the word of Yahweh spoken to me on August 25th of 2017 concerning the attacks, state of emergency, 911. That state of emergency 911 and the cataclysmic events that are soon to come. And here is what the word of the Lord was. When the attacks come, my people will be protected. Those under my covering, under the shadow of my wings, will be protected. Read Psalms 91. He went on to say, and if you can understand this, even in death, my people will be protected. O death, where is your sting? That's in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 55. Yahweh. And I concluded, there is no sting of death for the believer in Christ Jesus. Okay, I printed out Psalms 91. I went on to say, again, we are in a state of emergency, high red alert. The Lord had me to put there, this world is on fire. And I'm going to come back and talk about that. Get under his wings and stay there. All right, again, this is from warning from 2017. So let's go back up to the top. So when God says, when the attacks come, my people are going to be protected. Those under my covering, under his wings, he said. This is the part. And if you can understand this, even in death, my people will be protected. So I want to try to mention something about that very briefly. So the Lord let me know that when these events take place, when some of these events take place, there are going to be times when saints are going to leave here. Okay? As saved and unsaved people, there will be times when saints and sinners, or people who have not been born again, are going to leave, and saints are going to leave in some of these cataclysmic events as well. These messages and these warnings are not about to make you fear. It is not to make you scared. It is to tell you to get prepared. Okay? So, let's use 9/11 of 2001 for an example. This is how God showed it to me years ago. When those attacks took place and the Twin Towers were destroyed, thousands of lives were lost. And I do believe I mentioned this in a previous video in the past. When that event took place, when that disaster, when that cataclysmic event took place, everyone that died that day was not unsaved. There were saints that left this earth on that day. So God is saying, even in death, his people are protected, because there is no sting of death to the believer in Christ. Meaning, when danger strikes, when disaster strikes, and there is a loss of life, and God's people may be in the midst of that, God is saying that he has the power, and he can snatch your spirit out of your body before you feel the impact of what killed you. That means there is no sting of death. That's how he put that in my spirit. When those attacks took place for 9/11, the people that belonged to Christ, they were lifted up. They were snatched out of here. Okay? There is no sting of death, because to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So they were snatched up. Another word for being just snatched up like that, when that danger hit, and death for many people was immediate. Another word for being snatched up like that into the presence of God is rapture. That is a type of rapture. God's people were raptured out of here. Okay, I know that's not the rapture that a lot of mainstream religious people teach about, but that is a type of rapture. Okay, when thousands of people leave here at once from an explosion, okay, and the souls are caught up, God's people's, their souls are caught up with him. They were raptured out of here. But the main point is what I was saying. God says he can snatch your spirit out of your body, and you not even feel not one sting of death. You not even feel the impact or the pain of what just hit you and took and ended your life. So I'm reminded of the 3 Hebrew boys who were thrown into the burning fiery furnace, and we know that that was heated up 7 times hotter. And the Bible lets us know that when they were thrown in, there was, they were found with no hurt when they were taken out of there, and when they were in there, they were not burned. Not a hair on their head was singed. There was no smell of smoke on them. They were thrown into the midst of a burning fiery furnace that was heated 7 times hotter. So that is a display of his power, where what should have killed you in that instance, it didn't even kill them. But even when death comes, he said, my people are protected even in death. If you can understand that. Okay, so I'm going to move on. O death, where is your sting? So I'm going to go and I'm going to touch on high red alert. This is what I released in 2017 from the Lord. 2 to 3 days before the death of Kobe Bryant, the color orange came to me, and the color orange was really irritating me, and I know that sounds strange. We are now in a high red alert, but this high red alert started right before Kobe's death. The country went into a high red alert. The color orange, that's what the color orange mean. When the color orange came to me in the beginning, I had no clue, what was going on. And I was searching my spirit. I was, trying to figure out, why do I feel the color orange? Why is it like the color orange is like aggravating me and irritating me? It was sitting in my spirit. And it was almost like it's almost like the color orange became tangible. But it had a feeling of like something really wrong is what I was feeling. Something just horrible, something just bothering me. So at first I thought, well, there was a dream that God gave to one of the children in my family back in 2018, and it had the color orange in it. So I said, let me go and pull that dream out. That's a dream that I haven't shared yet. That was a dream about Michael Jackson. And when I began to get the interpretation of the dream from the Lord, it had Michael Jackson in it, also Whitney Houston, and it had an orange, I think, Bengal tiger. It took me a while to get the interpretation and the understanding of that dream from the Lord. So I had already been familiar with the color orange from that particular dream. So I said, well, maybe it's something in this dream that I need to go look at, because I was trying to prepare for the time when I would be able to share that dream. And so I couldn't really find, what it was that God was trying to tell me from that particular dream from 2018 about Michael Jackson. So I later went on Instagram, browsing through Instagram. And that's when I saw what I described as an explosion of the color orange. I'm going to switch pictures here. Now I'm telling you what came to me probably two to 3 days before Kobe Bryant's death. So I go on Instagram, I see an explosion of the color orange. And that explosion was, I saw Beyonce showcasing and advertising some orange clothing line of hers. And it was just all over everything. And my spirit was very disturbed, because when I saw that, I immediately began to understand what God was showing me. I knew what he was showing me because of things that I had already experienced and God revealed to me through the message I began sharing with you guys about Whitney Houston's death. Okay, so I was familiar with the color orange because it ties back to Whitney and Michael, and I know this might not make sense, but I will explain this as soon as I can finish getting these messages out. Okay, the color orange, let me tell you guys what the color orange represents. The color orange represents rage and anger. And that is the reason why the color orange was irritating me and aggravating me. And I could feel like something was seriously wrong. I could feel the color orange. I never knew you could feel colors. But God allowed me to feel the color orange 2 to 3 days before Kobe's death. So I began to write what the Lord was showing me when I realized what the color orange meant. And I had shared this with a family member, and I wrote this down on a postcard during that time. And I'm going to read to you guys what I wrote. I wrote, prophetic release. I see Beauty and the Beast roaming around in orange, but your true color is red. Your true color is blood red. The country is in blood red alert. Wow. The country was in blood red alert right before Kobe's death. I wrote, a signal has been given. Now I'm giving y'all the warning. Okay. And then I ended that with Kobe Bryant's death was a signal to the ... I didn't finish it. So I found this maybe a week ago, and I'm like, I forgot to share this information. I forgot to share this prophetic warning. So normally when God tells me to release a warning saying red alert, high red alert, watch and pray, I usually do it right away. And this time I kind of forgot to release this because I have a huge amount of information coming to me from the Lord on almost a day-to-day basis through things he's showing me through dreams and visions. And sometimes, you know, if I'm not organized and I don't keep up with stuff, I write stuff down and I go to the next thing and I go to the next thing. So anyway, here I am sharing this information now with you guys because of what this message is about right here. So anyway, let's go back to one other thing in this message. Okay, first let me say, when I mentioned Beauty and the Beast to you guys in some previous videos. I said y'all are dealing with Beauty and the Beast. I am going to fully explain that to you guys, but I can't do it in this particular video. I can't do everything in one video. I have so many things that I have to put my hands to. But I am going to explain that. I'm not going to just tell y'all these things and leave y'all hanging. Okay, because God has given me this platform to share the warnings and the dreams and the visions that he gives me. He's given me this platform to share this stuff with you guys. But it's really difficult for me to even be able to get to this point to sit in front of a computer and share this stuff. Okay, but I have to do it. The whole thing with Beauty and the Beast that I keep bringing up, the problem with that, or I should say one thing I notice about that is I'm referring to Beauty and the Beast, but I'm seeing two beasts. Wow, what is she talking about? So it should be Beauty and the Two Beasts. But as I said, I'm going to get to that, and I'm going to release that warning to y'all as soon as possible. So God said this world is on fire in 2017. And when God told me that, that had really puzzled me. So at that time, I heard him say that, and I really didn't want to put that there because I didn't understand it. But I was obedient, and I typed, "This world is on fire." And I'm like, what does God mean? Why is he saying that? At that time, the only thing that I remember that was going on was the fire burnings of California. That was what was in and out of the news, okay, a lot. The fires of California. So that's why I couldn't comprehend why was God telling me to say this world is on fire. Okay, so probably 2018, I'm not exactly sure. It might have been 2018 when the fires of Hawaii happened next. Okay, then there was an outbreak of wildfires in one of the Midwestern states. I don't know the date, and I'm not sure which state it was. But over a period of time, I began to understand why God told me to put this world is on fire. Because coming out of 2017, entering into 2018, we entered that time of explosions. Okay, there were a lot of explosions. The end of 2017 going into 2018, fuel-related explosions, gas explosions, houses in neighborhoods exploding and fires everywhere. Okay? So God had already given me that word in August. This world is on fire. And I said, get under his wings and stay there. Okay? So, again, this was Emergency 911 Part 1 and Part 2 that I'm sharing from a prophetic warning that the Lord gave me from 2017. I hope I have explained that well enough for you guys to understand. I hope I didn't leave any of you confused about anything. I sometimes feel like I have a hard time explaining the things that I see. And I want to tell you guys another thing about me. Some of the things that I see on a regular basis, some of the things God reveals to me and shares with me, it has caused me to be at a loss for words at times. It has caused me to stutter, and I mean literally. I've never been a stutterer. There are times when I ask God, I said, I know what you're showing me, but how can I explain this to people? I don't have the words sometimes to explain to people what God is showing me and what I'm seeing. It's very difficult for me. And I developed a habit of stuttering. And I've never been a stutterer in my life. So I just want to tell you guys that about me, because I'm baffled a lot of times. And it's like, wow, I stumble over my words sometimes because I don't know how to relay to y'all what is sitting in my spirit. It's not easy for me, and that's another reason why I don't like having to have to speak from this platform, but this is what God called me to do, okay? So I thank you guys for listening, and I just want to say, remember, people of God, boot up. God bless.